Well, welcome. Hello. Hi, it's Amanda, and I'm excited that it's almost 2024. Well, we still have Christmas holiday season. Here's the cute tree over here. We're back visiting the US from Bali. But I wanted to give you some guidelines for this incredible opportunity in 2024. Um, 2024 is not a light year. We all know that. We're in this brink of war, this intense energy. A lot of people are reporting higher levels of anxiety, depression, feeling like hopeless, like they've lost battles, like they don't know where to head next. And yet we're not giving up, we're going higher. So I'm going to give you some support on helping you to discover your soul purpose. And this isn't me telling you this is your purpose. It's giving you some tools, some inspiration so you can really do the deep work and uncover your next steps for 2024. Not only the steps, but how you're going to be operating. So I have like three major keys that I'm going to be sharing. And I'm going to weave in some channeling, some guided reading, and I'm going to personalize it as much as possible as I can feel in our soul family field, collective family, not only for the live video, but also for you watching this right now. So just tuning into your heart, feeling the excitement for 2024, if it's here already, if it's coming. So, what is it that you're here to create? Let's dive in. So, the first part of 2024, and this might be sort of linear or it might be totally out of the blue, but the first thing that I'm really seeing is this divine feminine aspect of replenishment. So usually we start the year out, everybody knows this, especially gym owners know this, that we start out the year with like go, go, go. That's when everybody signs up with their gym membership and they have a million resolutions and goals and dreams, and the dreams and visions are inspiring them. And then 2 weeks in, we go, oh, that's kind of a pain in the butt. I don't want to keep doing this. So that's the old model that we're moving out of. And when we're moving into our true divine soul purpose, like our soul is guiding this ship, we'll want to come from a different space. So a lot of people are identifying burnout, and burnout shows up in many different ways. It could be depression, it could be adrenal fatigue, it could be a hormone imbalance, basically any sort of dis-ease, mental illness, unwellness, or physical unwellness is a form of burnout because we're not aligned, and so we're pushing too hard in one realm and then we burn out. But I am seeing a lot of people really recovering from things like adrenal fatigue, burnout, not even having realized that they had it in the first place. I know as an entrepreneur, I launched my business around kind of slowly over the last 12 years. And then really pushed around 10 years ago. And it was like, boom, go, survive, do. And I think a lot of us, especially those of us who are creating our own paths, we are forging a new career. Maybe you're working for yourself, you're working in a really exciting company, and there's this like purpose work to it. Sometimes it can feel heavier. Like it would be easier if we just worked for like the gas and oil company and did what our families did and followed sort of like old structures. But we're creating this new way. But it's like not only do we have to be the train, we got to build the train tracks and we have to build the map. And so a lot of us are really recovering from intense forms of, or even very subtle yet intense forms of burnout. So we're doing it a new way. I feel like one of the ways that we're replenishing is putting self-care first, like putting it literally the first thing in the morning. When you wake up, do you have a morning practice? Are you journaling? Are you reading? Are you doing some body movement? Are you listening to music? Are you having some tea? Or do you just jet out of bed and just go on social media or just rush to work, take care of the kids? The other piece is I just wanted to acknowledge that I've been noticing a lot of people sharing that they have PTSD-like symptoms. And if you look up the definition of PTSD and complex PTSD, I've been hearing people saying, I was diagnosed with complex PTSD recently. I have PTSD. So it's almost like trending to the point of like, is there something in the culture that has gotten us here? So not that I want to go into definitions, but I think that we've all been a little bit traumatized. And 2024, there's opportunity in it, especially if you're a healer, or if you're ready to heal yourself. We are coming into deeper healing, not only healing of like COVID and the pandemic and all the world state that was happening then, and now there's the world state that's we're in now with wars and a lot of unknowns in the world. It's really much deeper than that. We're restoring like the DNA, the blood, the memory that's held in the tissues and the water. The are in the tissues, right? We're going back to some original core trauma, and there's no going back to it. Like when you're younger and you have a breakup, you can kind of sometimes just go on and date the next person, right? But I feel like a lot of people I'm seeing have had such bad heartbreaks, and we know what heartbreak does is it can actually re-traumatize and open the floodgates to old traumas coming through, like abandonment wounds as a child, or traumatic events, or even intergenerational trauma. So we've gotten to this point as a society, and most of us as individuals have gotten to this point where we can't take on a whole lot more stress, anxiety, pushing. So a lot of the people that are burning out are those typical people that are like straight A high achievers, have top careers. Some of them are still going to function with their high achieving mentality, but they're going to start questioning. And so there's an opportunity here if you want to, if you're a therapist or a life coach, or you have a business that caters to helping people in some way. There's this huge market of people that are wanting to leave the system, whether this looks like moving to Mexico and getting out of paying the high rents and mortgages and taxes in the US or wherever they might be, and moving their families to go live in blissful sunshine on the beach. Or it could be people launching their businesses. So there's so many different opportunities that are up in 2024, and we have to operate as sole purposepreneurs, or people going after our heart's desires, with making sure that we replenish ourselves and we stay in that juicy, nourished, feminine place, whether we're male or female. We have that watery energy. Most people are running on midnight oil. They're running on adrenal energies. They're running on fight or flight nervous systems that need service instead of being nervous. So doing these deep practices, embodiment practices, I've shared my story about over the last year. I did an embodiment practice, somatic healing practice, and then all this trauma came out of my nervous system. All this trauma came out. I was like, what is going on? I'm having a problem, like doing normal things. My ADHD started to really get out of control. I started to miss appointments, not any important client appointments, but appointments that I was like so ashamed. Even with my somatic healing coach, I was like, I can't schedule an appointment without fearing that I might skip the appointment, because when we have a nervous system reset, when we start to replenish, we also have to realize that we're going to be ready to heal that next layer of the onion of trauma. And a lot of people don't know how in their bodies we've been holding, in our DNA and also in the musculature, in the skeleton, how we hold our bodies. We've been holding a lot of ancient memories of these painful times of slavery, of Atlantis, of colonialism, of immigration, all these things that were incredibly intense, emotional, and even traumatic for our ancestors, never got resolved. And it just gets passed on one more generation. And we're finding out through epigenetics that it doesn't just dissolve and go away, that we are still holding these memories. And so we want to stay replenished and nourished and not go over the edge of focusing on the results first. So we want to really balance when we're setting our goals this year. I highly recommend for you to really focus on not only the outside, but also how do you feel? And as you write down your New Year's resolutions, like, okay, so I want to have 3 new clients sign up for my blah, 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 program in the first quarter, or whatever your goal is. Like, are you writing it from your head? And when you write it down, feel in your body. Like, how does that feel? Oh gosh, I get really anxious in my stomach. Um, 3 feels like, not enough. I want to just do 2 super high end clients. That feels good. And then in my other programs, I can just build those out a little bit. So you might get some messages coming through. But if we don't listen to our soma, our bodies, we're not going to get the answers. And this is the exact reason that people say, I want to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to go to the gym every day for the first month, a 30-day challenge. And then by the end of January, they look at their New Year's resolutions and they crumple them up and go, never mind. So if you want to hit those sustainable goals, listen to your body. In fact, you might, instead of writing the goal from your head, you might even want to start with, hey body, what feels like a really beautiful, doable, exciting goal for this year? And okay, like I'm noticing some fear coming up in my left shoulder. What would support you? Okay, there's a fear that I might become too perfectionist because I have those patterns. Okay, let's talk to my inner perfectionist. So we can use the body and somatically communicate with these different parts. Let's dive into the second key for 2024 for your soul purpose. The first one, of course, was to replenish. The second one is inner attunement. And what I mean by that is to remember your original purpose. And when I say original, I mean original before you came to this planet as a human being. I'm talking about your stellar, your soul purpose, your light. And before this incarnation, you might have had a vision or a plan or a mission, or even been part of a soul family. You might have been part of a group, a religious group, a galactic group, an agenda that was like, you are incarnating because this is what you are doing. So one of the steps in this is to do your best to remember that. Maybe it's a felt sense. Maybe you do an ayahuasca ceremony and you get like full, clear guidance to launch your retreat in Costa Rica and do a women's breathwork retreat, or to go to Greece and you'll meet your soulmate. Like, you might get the most clear insight from either a meditation or, like I said, plant medicine, or from getting a psychic reading, from journaling, from your own inner wisdom. So when we do inner attunement, it's important to be very open to like this or better, this or greater. You might see this is your twin flame and you just open your heart. It feels amazing. And then they go back to their ex-partner and you're like, but you're supposed to be my person. Oh, I get it now. You represented everything I wanted, except the fact that you weren't available and you had unresolved karma and baggage, which was like my father. So I need to do some healing work around that. That's one of the examples of a client of mine, although she actually is getting back together with the person she believes is her twin flame. But a lot of women and men, I don't work with men as much. My partner's doing that work now. Thank you, Jack. So a lot of people are realizing this whole limiting twin flame theory, and of course with the whole escaping twin flames. And if you haven't seen the Netflix movie, there's like been a lot of disgusting, or at least I would say just really abusive behavior in the twin flame community, which, as many of you know, or maybe you're new to my channel, I used to be a twin flame alchemist. I still like love the topic of twin flames. I won't go into this because I've talked too much about it, but we need to really have a lot of open-mindedness and not get attached to outcomes. So this comes with our setting our goals for 2024, with how we operate all throughout the year. And in terms of achieving our goals, we might say masculine goal is this, but like, how do we actually feel in our body when we set the goal? When we actually start getting there, and time changes and the times change, and there's like a new AI app that takes over. I mean, things are changing so fast. So I am going to wrap this video up with the very last one, because I think we have an interruption. My daughter's coming back. Is the second piece is to redefine the lessons that you've learned in inner attunement, is to just actually say, you know what? my goal was set, but now things have totally changed, and I've learned and I've changed and I've been through this thing, and I've learned as a business owner. I've also learned as a person who's gone through a heartbreak or a trauma, that this is no longer in alignment. So there's going to be a lot of sacred knowing. There's going to be a lot of change, and even my family coming back. It's like, I think we're in agreement that we need to be a lot more fluid, a lot more flexible, a lot more ready for anything to happen. And that's really challenging because we want to forecast something so that we can set something up that's going to work. That's why people are working with, my husband is doing crypto astrology. So there's astrology that applies to so many different things in our lives. Cryptocurrency is one of his passions. He also does astrology for relationships. So sometimes we can use those tools of astrology and forecasting. And sometimes we got to just, bring the raincoat, even if it's sunny, because we just don't know what's going to happen. Literally, yesterday there was this massive downpour in California. It was nice and dry, and it was just like, the rain that we have in Bali, the tsunamis. It was crazy. I just have like one or two more minutes. Okay. So the third part before we close up this video is I just wanted to bring it home with the key number 3 is relating to wholeness. So you might take away that there's this feminine aspect of replenishment. Then there's the masculine aspect of setting goals, but really coming from that replenished state, feeling into the body, taking care of our feminine energy, taking care of our trauma, taking care of our sensitivities, and making a change and taking action and doing all the things. And then there's this conversation that's got to happen between our feminine and masculine when it comes to continuing and pursuing our soul purpose. So relating to wholeness means things like acknowledging our feminine side and our masculine side, acknowledging these parts. And there's parts work, there's archetypes. So there might be the high achiever in you that still wants to make a video every day for your business, or that wants to apply to 10 new jobs in the month of January, but really your body and what your readiness is saying, in order for me to be happy and fulfilled, it's a lot less. That's okay, because when you listen to quality and not quantity, and you're really listening to yourself, you're honoring the universe, and the universe is most likely going to honor you more. It might take a little bit more time. It might be a bit uncomfortable and painful to integrate the whole family of you. Some of us have very prominent parts that's like, I got it handled. I don't want to think about my inner child or the part of me that really doesn't like this aspect of my work. And I'm going to suppress that until suddenly, all of a sudden, I can't suppress it anymore during a key embarrassing moment. Like a lot of people do this in relationships where they're like, I'm not going to let my inner child who's really angry at, her father, I want her to be really quiet and good because I want to shine as a sexy woman. Then we're going to fall in love, and we're going to make love, and we're going to get close. And then all of a sudden the needy little girl is like, Daddy's going to leave. And then she might get angry at Daddy because that was the story. And so then all of a sudden she starts criticizing him, or something happens to like push him away. And then she's like, I'm scared, I need you. And so the sexy goddess has to wear cleavage enhancing stuff, or she needs to get a nose job or Botox or whatever. And then the little girl is feeling less loved because now mommy's even, more beautiful. And so we have these funny parts. That's an example that I was giving because a lot of women are in this loop of the culture of needing to be beautiful and Botoxed and perfect. And really there's this aspect of the divine feminine, the divine daughter, that just wants to be natural, doesn't want to have to keratin straighten her hair and wake up every morning with a blow dryer and chisel her face and work out just to look good, but actually work out to feel good, which is very different, by the way. I used to work out to look good, and I thought it was going to make me feel good. And sometimes it kind of did. I did power yoga. I did the kind of sweaty, hot yoga. I would go 5 days a week, and I would push. And guess what I was doing? I was perpetuating cycles of migraines, hormone imbalance. I was creating all this tension. I didn't know that because I was just sticking to this idea, this cultural idea or cultural ideal of, if you do this, then you'll be the chosen one. So we have to stop that. If I go to, yoga 5 times a week and I really push hard and I wear this kind of clothes, and if I buy this car because I've hit my bonuses by the end of the year, or if we're able to move into the bigger house, then I'll be, loved, happy. All of that is kind of suppressing trauma. Instead, if we can live like, what is all of me wanting? What is my little one wanting? What is the part of me that's super creative wanting? The part of me that's logical? So identifying your different parts. That's where archetypes can really come in and be quite interesting. And at Aphrodite University, we work with the archetypes of Aphrodite. And so if you are working with the archetype of the, let's say more of the good girl, the divine daughter, we call her the good child. And it could be working with men. It would be something like working with the good boy or the good girl. And then there's the murderess, the Aphrodite Androphanos, who is like Kali, who just can rage and get what she wants. So we have these different sides of us, and they sometimes come out at the wrong times. Sometimes we are too nice. Sometimes we're too rageful. So we want to learn how to access our different archetypes. And the reason I love working with archetypes is we're literally made out of archetypes. We are born into the zodiac system. We are on the earth. The earth is spinning around the sun. The sun is orbiting around the central sun, which is spinning around the fixed sides of the zodiac. So we have these 12 zodiac signs. We have these 12 archetypes. Really, we have an infinite number of parts, and they don't have to work together perfectly, but they are together. So communicating with this part of you as you're discovering your soul purpose in 2024. Hey, that's exciting. That's really cool. That seems like fantasy thinking. I don't think that's possible. Is that going to make me enough money? Gosh, you haven't had great luck with money when you followed your purpose. So if you can find out not only your conversations in your head about your purpose, but also finances, health. Maybe your soul purpose is you want to go to remote areas of the world, but you have a health issue and you don't know about, if that's going to be good for your body. We might have these split consciousnesses. So one thing you can do for that in parts work is you can sit down and you can journal with these various aspects of yourself, or you can have conversations out loud. Sometimes it's fun to record them. You can also have a friend representing the part of you that's highly critical and perfectionist, and then you could play out the person who's wanting to be more creative and fun and have your new YouTube channel or whatever it is that you want to do. This is some of the work that I love doing with my clients, and it's interesting how we might not be aware of a part, like one part might have a very prominent voice and be very masculine, but behind it, that part is actually really scared. So in working with a therapist or someone who can do parts work, we can uncover a whole more wholesome picture, a map of what's going on in us. And I love helping people with their soul purposes. Soul purpose is something that has always been important to me. In my freshman year in college, I went to Duke University and I was pre-med, and I wanted to be a healer, and then I realized, oh my God, I'm totally not cut out for the academic, the amount of math and science and literature and stress. I was like, I don't get how I would be a healer if I am just falling apart. I was literally starting to fall apart physically by the time I finished my first semester with all the all-nighters it took me. So from my first year in college, I started asking, like, what is it that I want to do? Is there a purpose? And I have followed this, and it's changed a lot. And I think a lot of you are going to have different purposes from one year to the next, or 1 month to the next. There can be a lot of variety within one purpose as well. So keeping it interesting, that's another little tip, is you don't have to do the same thing all year. You can launch one product, you could do this, and it might all be brought together with the umbrella of your genius, your soul purpose. So if you are interested in getting my support and you're feeling like, I'm a little stuck with soul purpose, I'm really excited to step up, I want to integrate my feminine, we can do all kinds of things for you. So some of the work that I do, I'm a transpersonal counselor, I'm a life coach, I'm an ecstatic dance and movement teacher, I have all of these different gifts: sound healing, channeling, divine feminine healing arts. I used to be like, my purpose is to help you find your twin flame. But that was more for branding reasons, because it did honestly, it made a living for me living in California. And when I was like, I do all these different things, it didn't really sell people. So, but to be very truthful, I can do all kinds of healing things for people. And one of the things that I do best and love is helping people find their soul purpose. And it's an opportunity for me as well. When I read you, I get a deeper understanding of the world and of what my purpose is going to be. So I love that. And so that's why I wanted to support you at a really, I would say, reasonable rate. Is I'm going to do a 2-hour soul purpose reading for a limited number of clients. I'm going to listen to my body. I'm not going to say it's going to be 5 people or 20 people. But go ahead and email our team at info@aphroditeuniversity.org. And I will put the link in the description, info@aphroditeuniversity.org. And you can get a 2-hour soul reading with me. Normally my 1-hour sessions are sold in a package. I work with clients at the $50,000 rate because I have such a boutique coaching firm. But at the beginning of this year, I am offering sessions for just $333, and that is a 2-hour soul purpose reading, and it's going to come with a bonus, which is an oracle card reading, as well as a soul affirmation reading. So it might be a short phrase that you'll repeat over and over again, or it might be a message from your soul. So reach out to us at info@Aphrodite University and say, hey, I saw Amanda's video on 2024 and I want the reading, and you'll get it for the rate of $333. I just wanted to bless you with an incredible 2024. It's been really rough for a lot of people with all the changes. The holidays are here. You're supposed to be happy, merry, and bright. I feel like a lot of people are unrepressing old emotions, family energies. It's a beautiful time, whether you celebrate the holidays, whether you live in a cold climate. I feel like there's just a lot of culminating energies at the end of 2023 as we shift into 2024. So whatever support you need, do get it, whether it's getting a reading from me, whether it's spending time with family, whether it's putting together a soul circle or signing up for a program. Do something for yourself if you're feeling particularly lost or heavy or like out of balance, because the more you address it and the more support you get, the more you'll be able to alchemize what's going on into lining up with the direction you are meant to go on in 2024. So I hope this video helped you. Thank you for liking, for watching. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already to our channel, and I will see you hopefully very soon. Namaste, namasko. Bye for now.